am I dressed up in my rock star persona outfit like this? Why am I dressed up? Well, it's because I was just listening to Night Moves by Bob Seger. Now, a lot of people, even still, after 50 years, ask, well, who is Bob Seger? Well, he is a persistent rock star. Seriously, this was his 9th album. It took him 9 albums and 8 years for him to make it big in the music industry. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how did a young 23-year-old guy like me get into Bob Seger? You know, people would tell me, you're too young to know who Bob Seger is. People, you are never, ever too young to know what great music is, okay? End of discussion. Anyways, I know you're probably wondering how I found out about it, and the answer is yes. Old Time Rock and Roll, his most popular song. But there are a lot more cool songs by Seger than just Old Time Rock and Roll. If you want to hear other good songs by Bob Seger, here you go. This album contains a lot of his other big hits than just Old Time Rock and Roll. Sunspot Baby, Night Moves, Sunburst, Mary Lou. What really got me listening to Bob Seger was last summer I was at a rodeo, and before the rodeo began I saw on their website that they were having yet another lip-syncing competition. As you guys probably know, I did compete in 2 lip-syncing competitions. This was my 3rd participation. And, well, my song of choice was Shakedown from Beverly Hills Cop by Bob Seger. Now, for that whole summer, in the days and months leading up to that lip-syncing competition, I practiced. Absolutely practiced. One morning while I was practicing, a gentleman came in and he asked me what was up, and I told him I'm just practicing for a lip-syncing competition. I'm doing Shakedown by Bob Seger. And he said, well, have a seat. I got a little something to tell you about Bob Seger. And he told me just how much of an impact that Bob Seger had in music. This guy, I guarantee you, is old enough to tell you all the good songs by Bob Seger. Like, he knows more than I do. Seriously. And he said one day while he was in college, his friend came back from Michigan and he had an album by Bob Seger. I can't remember what the album was. This gentleman did give me a little bit of brief history about Bob Seger. I knew he was from Detroit, and in those days Detroit music was just on the rise. And anyways, this guy plugged in Bob Seger's album, and he was just like, what? Who is this guy? This is amazing! And then he got the opportunity to see Bob Seger live when Bob was an opening act. I can't remember the band that he was opening for, but this man who I met at the gym told me everything. And he was like, this guy was just mesmerized by Bob Seger's performance. Like, it was just a short period of time before Bob hit it big with Night Moves. So that's how I found out about Bob Seger. Now, on to the review.